How you doing today, everyone? Pete Yapel, the Face of Cannabis, one of the millions of cannabis activists in the world today, and a proud member of the United Coalition of Cannabis Activists, where our mission statement is simple: uniting cannabis activists worldwide to repeal cannabis prohibition. Today I want to talk a little bit about misconceptions within people to why we fight to end prohibition. I will warn you all right from the beginning, the video will probably be a little bit longer because the content is important and there's so much that needs to be said. I won't be able to cover it all, obviously, but I'll try to hit a lot of the highlights, and I'll try to let you know where this misconception is formed and what we as activists, or just we as people that just may be viewing this video that have no idea about cannabis and are just a bit curious as to what it's about, have some insight, and at least it'll give them a place to go and look and search for this information. Okay, the misconceptions of cannabis. Let's start with the main one. The main misconception of cannabis, ending cannabis prohibition, is that people want to walk around and get stoned. This is the farthest thing from the truth. Yes, there are people that want cannabis to be legalized so they can get stoned. I'm not going to say there isn't. Listen, I like getting high myself, but that's not the main reason for me wanting this incredible plant to be freed. First of all, it's an incredible plant, and no one should be able to govern over that anyway. But getting stoned, through 10,000s of years ago, we've been using this plant for that whole time. And it was used medicinally, but their main uses for the cannabis plant back then in the hemp form, was for clothing, was for textiles, was for building things. It had nothing to do with people sitting around getting high. It was used medicinally back then. Yes, it was. And that's where the hemp cannabis separation becomes in the genetics. Hemp plants are genuinely very low, like 0.3% most of the time in THC, and very high in CBDs. And as we know, the cannabis plant, as we know it, and marijuana, pot, whatever people want to call it today, and, are very high in THC because of the medicinal value. I mean, that's medicinal value. Sorry, that's what it's about, and why the THC levels are higher. But, the plant was bred that way and made that way to be different. Okay, we know that, right now in England, there's 67,000 acres of hemp grown a year. I sit back and think of that as every single day I drive by another farm that's closing. And they're closing because the costs and how much it costs to grow things, and, getting it to market, and what the value is at market. Well, just think, if you have these, 70, 80, 100-acre farms that are closing constantly, and they're growing nothing but hemp, and their turnarounds like every 4 months or so, the money they could be making and saving their farms. Not only saving their farms, doing better by the economy, doing better by the air quality we breathe, doing better by so much. Biofuels, for instance. Hemp takes a lot less time to dry than corn and such. The process to turn it into an ethanol is quicker. So that's a benefit. Obviously, ethanol burns cleaner, and will help us with emissions problems. As far as cannabis goes, cannabis is normally taken in a medicinal way for in a suppository form, in a pill, a caplet form, just caplet of oil, in just a drop of oil. People making canna butters, cooking with it. Smoking is the least effective way to get any value out of it if you're talking about your health. Cannabis as a preventative, keeping your endocannabinoid system strong, and keeping it, keeping your endocannabinoids high, so that you don't get infections, you don't get illnesses. It helps your body fight them off. You know, the natural breakdown of our endocannabinoid system is how we age. You know, cannabis keeps us younger. It truly does. If you saw me 2 years ago, you know, and saw me today, the drastic difference, you know, it's day and night. But, you know, that misconception of, you know, us, you know, just wanting to all get high is so run down and behind us. For those that are truly in the movement. So those of you who aren't, and those of you who are just trying to learn, we're not just trying to get stoned. We're trying to make ourselves better. You know, cannabis will make you a better person. The use of cannabis will. You know, you won't be having those 3, 4, 6, 12, 18 beers, you know, where you're getting sloppy drunk and it's killing your insides rather than healing them. You're not going to make stupid decisions, and, you know, you don't become rash or, you know, unsteady in the mind or thought, or, you know, aggression doesn't form. Cannabis, on the other hand, will do the exact opposite to you. You know, those of you that remember smoking when you were a kid, you know, you remember the high, you know, ooh, you know, oh, I was silly, you know, who could get more stoned? Listen, if you would have smoked and just kept smoking, you realize that high, you know, that high gets real mellowed. Because once you start not concentrating on that, and you start concentrating on, wow, this has really opened my mind. Wow, I've really, you know, I've become a bit more artistic or even articulate. Marijuana does this. You know, cannabis is an incredible plant. You know, it has no harmful side effects. You watch the next commercial. God is my witness, watch the next commercial. And you watch the next commercial about the newest prescription drug out on the market. And you tell me, after hearing what that will do to you, if you will put it in your mouth. And if you will, it's because you believe everything a doctor will tell you. And you believe everything this government wants you to believe. And by doing so, and believing what the government wants you to believe, you will have to take, this new opiate releasing your clogged crap in your rear end medicine that they got out now. Why? Because they'll give you the opiate to make you constipated. It ruins your health that way. Let's make a pill to make it the other way around. You become a slave to the market. You become a slave to this government. You become a slave to a pill. You become a slave to everything that ill that it can bring you. You watch a commercial, and when a commercial tells you that by taking this, it may cause death, it may cause heart attack, it may cause stroke, it may cause suicidal tendencies. Smoke marijuana and tell me you feel any of those things, or that any of those things will happen to you. The answer is absolutely simple. It never will. It can't do that to you. You would have to smoke 1.6 tons of marijuana in a day to overdose. You cannot smoke 1.6 million tons of marijuana in a day. You couldn't smoke that probably in your lifetime. So if you smoked every day from the minute you were born till the minute you died, you still could not overdose. You don't become addicted to marijuana. Do they say it has addictive properties? If you read some studies, they'll say, yes, you go through some withdrawal. It's not withdrawal. It's feeling the symptoms you had before. It's feeling the symptoms that the plant is helping you cope with. There are groups all over Facebook that fight from everything from VA rights to children's rights, patient rights to prisoners' rights. All of these groups are wonderful groups. I implore you, please go check them out. Please go look around and dance around and check out the information that's out there. Cannabis Country on Facebook, that's one of my groups, one of my bigger groups. And, you know, we are a Canna family. we look after each other. We take care of each other. We provide each other documentaries, documents and periodicals and fact-based material about the cannabis plant and the wonders that cannabis can do. Check it out. It's an informational site. But my point being is there are groups out there for every reason under the sun. I mentioned that because us groups are now saying that, although we fight for a cause, we know we can't be heard in a whisper. So we're putting all of our voices together. We're standing as one, but keeping our individuality. We're all coming and joining the United Coalition of Cannabis Activists. We soon will have a website up that will be informational and interactive, and will allow people to go, and the groups that are all involved will be listed, so that you can connect with someone within your state or that's fighting for the reasons that you need to. But we're doing this together, and we're doing it together because we know, not because we've been told, but we know the benefits of the cannabis plant, the health it can bring you, the saving of our environment that it will help. Listen, 20 years for a tree to mature, 4 months for a cannabis plant to mature. You tell me, we're complaining every day that rainforests or that just our forests or our ecosystem around us is being destroyed, and animals, and where are animals going to go? If you're an animal activist, you should be a cannabis activist. I don't know, people. All I know is this. There are so many misconceptions out there about this that can all be proven wrong. All be proven wrong with a simple click of a button, because there is so much information available to you. If you don't know where to find it, you can contact me. You need information about something about this plant, I will have it to you. If I don't know it right off the top of my head and can't tell you the periodical to look at, I will send you the periodical. That I can tell you. Listen, as activists, we don't do this for money. There are groups out there that do. But as activists, we don't. Our payment is in giving to others and letting others know that they don't have to be a slave to pharmaceuticals. They don't have to yes our government to death. They can show that a plant can't be governed. If you're a Bible belter, don't talk to me about cannabis being evil. Read your Bible. Go to Genesis. All plants were put on this earth for a reason. There's so much that aggravates me. But like I say, the misconceptions. Don't think that we just want to get high. Don't. Think of the prisoners. People are sitting in jail longer than rapists and murderers for a plant. They have caused no one no harm. None. It's non-violent. It's not even a crime. It's only a crime because our government is saying it is. There are people, as I said, in jail, and think of it, longer than someone that has molested a child or has murdered someone. For a plant that does nothing but good. Come and join us at the United Coalition of Cannabis Activists, everyone. Individuals, groups. If you're a part of a group, get hold of your administrator. Tell them the importance of this. Let them know you heard it here. We're worldwide. 12 countries I'm in touch. I had birthday wishes from yesterday, and I'm in touch with 23. So believe me, this isn't something that we're just designated to the United States, but obviously that's where a lot of us live that are watching this. So that's what a lot of us is important. Well, it's more important in the United States than you know. We can generate and keep jobs and we can make people money rather than making our government rich. $60 million a day, over $60 million a day per inmate. That's just counting cannabis inmates, people that are in jail for cannabis. $60 million a day the government's making. Think of Big Farm, billions of dollars, billions. That's just Big Farm. That's not counting the insurance companies. Think of all the money our government is getting from this. Think of it. That's why they don't want to let go. That's why they keep telling you that this is wrong and that, oh, people are going to do this, that, and the other thing. Listen, people don't stand out outside a donut shop to rob people for money for cannabis. Okay? They don't. They'll do it for heroin. And why are they on heroin? Because they can't afford opiates on the street. And why can't they afford the opiates on the street? Because they took their prescriptions in 2 weeks rather than a month that it's supposed to last them because they're addicted. When I hear people say, I can't get out of bed without my medication and my opiates, you want to know why? Because your medication and your opiates are keeping you in bed. Take it from experience, people. 136 pills a day I was prescribed. I don't take them. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I eat properly. And it's mainly because of my intake in cannabis. It helps me get through every single day with every ache and pain I ever have. Just diagnosed with Lyme, and I have arthritis. So, me ingesting cannabis is, it is helping me in the inflammatory aspect of it all. It fights the inflammation. Fibromyalgia. I suffer from fibromyalgia, and I suffer terribly from fibromyalgia. Used to. I will never tell you that you won't feel the effects of your illness at all. You will. There are. But you feel it just as much, if not more, when you're taking opiates and other medications. When you're taking cannabis or using cannabis as a medication, it's more effective, isn't harmful to your system and only helps it, and can make you a healthier individual, period, by using it. Experience speaking. Not doctors, not periodicals, not nothing. Someone that's done this. I have a laundry list of illnesses. None of them are pretty. I've had multiple operations. I've died twice in a 2-year period. And brought back. And it was all when I was on all of these prescription pills and eating McDonald's and things like that. So don't believe the misconceptions. The misconceptions are untrue. Hi everyone. Gonna cut off for now. Told you it was gonna be long. I apologize, but it's an important video. Please share this. Share this with someone that doesn't know. Please do. I appreciate your time. Pete Yable, Face of Cannabis. Peace. One love. Positive energy surround you, man. Keep it strong and push away the negative. Prayers and blessings to you and your family. Have a nice day.